What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some idle champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games or later on your favorite podcast service, Dave Walters and Erin M talk about all the idle champions lore you need to know about. If you hear this live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show. But until then, Erin, Dave, take it away.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels Saga, a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, featuring 3 of your favorite idle champions.
Yeah, 3, yeah.
3.
I also play Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers.
Yeah. Dave Walters. I say words about things. You can find me all over the interwebs where fine streaming content can be located. Just did a thing for St. Jude's on Saturday, St. Jude Plays. Support that if you can. Thursdays at 4. D&D, Twitch, and YouTube for Black Dice Society.
Yes.
Also, who were you, Trey B?
It was a while ago that I realized I don't introduce myself, but I'm like, mainly it's you two talking. There should be, so I'm just over here.
Hey. None of that talk. Stow that talk, soldier.
I'm Treavor Bettis. I co-host a show called Difficulty Class on Fridays about D&D, and I'm also on another show with these two lovely people called Ranting About Dragons and shit, and it's a lot of fun. We talk to cool people. Besides ourselves.
you left out at least one more gig there, sir.
Well, yes, there is Champion Psychology, which you can catch here on twitch.tv/CNE Games on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So yesterday, so you're late, but next week you're early. So check it out.
Yeah, they're early for next week.
Yes.
You can watch the VODs.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking wizards and some of their groups today, because it says factions in the tweet, but it's not quite right.
Gonna spread it out.
Yeah.
Wizardly organizations.
Wizardly organizations.
It's true. Did not like Hogwarts and stuff though. Not the Ministry of Magic.
No.
Like not that.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Although we have to jump right in because again, dear friends, we'll be waiting to go live on a show and Aaron's is like, hey, here's a brilliant insight I've got, and I'm like save it for when the cameras are rolling. That happens more than you might think. And one of the things we were talking about was the Dragonborn in their societal portrayal of wizards. And she's like, well, these wizards are of use. And I was like, wait a minute, they're already atheists in a world where you can find the gods. They're over there, and clerics do stuff in front of you,
they're gonna ask for something.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, but wizards, it's kind of I can cast Meteor Swarm. I feel like Fireball is self-validating, especially for the ash marked ones. And you were about to say something very interesting about a beer, and that was when I asked you to stop recording. And now,
so this was because when you're looking at lists of wizardly organizations, one of the things that went on the list is a Dragonborn clan called Clan Kanjan Telekor. Kanjan Telekor does have a sizable number of spellcasters. They make up I'm not going to apologize. This is just how I am. They make up a lot of the 9th Red cohort, which is mostly wizards that specialize in fireball and similar spells.
Lots of guano.
The thing is, in a beer, yes, lots of guano from the Lance Defenders bats, because someone's got to use that stuff. Anyway, a beer, having no gods, has no Mystra. And in the Forgotten Realms, magic is synonymous with the goddess of magic, Mystra. Mystra is an entity, and also the weave, which is what wizards draw their magic from. It's sort of the network of magical energy that is constant throughout Toril. If there is no Mystra in a beer, there is no weave in a beer. And so the way that I handled it was the assumption that if there is magic in a beer, it exists within magical creatures, which means the way you're going to do magic, if you're a Dragonborn and you need a big boom, like for example, blowing up a giant volcano big enough to kill a red dragon, you're going to take a piece of a dead titan, in this case, the Eye of Blazing Rorn. That's the thing you throw in the volcano to make the volcano overclock.
See, I thought you were going to say the real magic was within us all along.
That's the lesson. The real magic is when we all come together to murder our tyrannical overlord. So,
all right.
Happy Pride, y'all.
So they come to Toril and they're like, well, this is how you do magic. They bring some of those artifacts with them. One of the things that I put in, this is not about wizards, so it's a little off topic, but one of the things that's in there is an artifact that is the brachials of Merciless Patron, who is a titan of stone. And if you blow into this, it will raise stone walls and buildings. It will, however, crystallize part of your own lungs. So there is a trade-off here. So this is how they think of magic coming into Toril. So traditionally, it's like, why do you need that? Swing your sword harder. But there are plenty of Dragonborn that are magic users, that are wizards. They could be in any of these organizations, except the ones that are kind of specious and say humans or elves only, because those are things.
Yeah, that happens a lot. You know, but see, that's interesting to me. Again, this is, yes, it is it's tangenting, but it is a relevant tangent because we're talking about the underlying function of magic, which is what wizards are all about anyway.
Yeah.
Literally, if there's no magic, there's no wizards.
Literally. So Abir and
It's
Toril,
established. No.
Abir and Toril were a double planet together, which, I mean, I guess really then that becomes a question of, is Mystra the author and architect of the weave, or is she in the embodiment of the weave? You know what I mean? Like, you're like, no Mystra, no weave, but it's like Abir and Toril were already together once, so I'm like, fireballs used to work. I feel like the ones that got sent to Abir, they already got the short end of the stick because it's this Lovecraftian hellscape, but it's a Lovecraftian hellscape with no fireballs, which I don't know, is that a plus or a minus, really?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, there are instances like one of the things that happened for the transition from 3rd edition to 4th edition is something called the spell plague. When the spell plague happens, Mystra's killed, which massively disrupts the weave, kills most wizards, or at least a lot of them, or drives them crazy. And so
shout out to our homie Alabaster Booty Clap.
So after that, then the weave exists, but it's fragmented is the idea. And that so doing magic is a little harder and involves sort of pulling these fragments together. So I guess theoretically you could have in Abir similar situation where there are fragments remaining because but then there's also this piece where like Mystra's dead, but is she dead? Because she comes back. She dies a lot and comes back a lot.
I always picture the gods as more like a soap opera kind of thing. She'll be back in a few years with amnesia. It'll be fine.
She'll look different.
Yeah.
She'll be recast. Will now be played by.
Never. I was about to say something and get shot with NDA bullets. Remind me to tell you later. Yeah.
I saw the laser dot. You can go up there.
Yeah.
He's had the thought.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna say anything else.
In D&D, there's lots of different kinds of spellcasters, and I think it's worth defining. Like, this is why wizards are. This is what makes wizards wizardy, right? That wizards have a spell book, and they have a certain number of spells, which is a lot bigger than other spellcasters. They're taught.
Formally taught.
Yes.
You're a person that sat down to literally memorize spells, memorize formulae, have a book that you must consult to help you remind yourselves of it.
That actually does bring up a question that I've always had. So literally anyone, if they put in the time, could become a wizard.
If you have the minimum intelligence requirement,
Okay.
Because part of it is it's the style of magic they usually call Vancian, because it comes from the Dying Earth series by Jack Vance, where you have to like cram your brain full of these spells, these specific syllables, and you can only hold so many, and then when you cast them, you forget them. So every morning the wizard has to study their spell book, memorize the spells, and then once they cast them, they're gone.
I always wanted to do like a comedy version of that, where instead of forgetting the spell, you just like forgot some minuscule thing. It's just like, crap, what did I have for breakfast? Did I eat breakfast?
You're like turning neurotic for magic. Yeah, you're like, I remember my childhood.
You get this like you get this giant like massive fireball and cast it. Like, crap, now I can't do long division.
This is probably a little chaos agent, but I would love like sorcerers have wild magic. So you have to roll a d20 every time you cast a spell of first level or higher that determines what, if you roll a 1, then you roll on the percentile dice. If you had something like that for wizards, right? So you roll a 1 and then you roll and you're like, oh my God, what's my social security number? It's like, give them a list of like, now you don't remember the sound of your grandfather's voice.
Oh
like,
no!
Now you forget this traumatic incident from middle school. So
yeah. You're like, before I just disintegrated that guy. That was how I attempted to forget that traumatic incident. I guess there's 4, 5. I mean, there's a ton of magic users, but I mean, in terms of like the fonts of magic, there's wizards who are formally taught, sorcerers. Maybe she's born with it. Warlocks, maybe they've bargained for it. Clerics, which their powers are divine, given to them by the gods. druids, which is still divine, but not necessarily from a personified god. You know, it's kind of like the nature is sort of hooking you up with your power. And those are kind of the 5 big pillars, because everything else is kind of like a subset of one of those. Like somebody else does those kinds of, I mean, and even magic, sorcerers and wizards cast the same kind of spells. They just do it in a different way. What's wild is you can be a sorcerer and a wizard. That always threw me off.
Yeah.
Like that came up in 3.5, and I'm like, but why though? Yeah. The Archmage Prestige class was like, here's why. And it's like, oh, okay. Got it.
Prestige classes. Oh, I haven't thought about those in a long time.
I miss those. I wish they came back. But yes, so wizards, the formally taught, the scholarly minded, have certain organizations to which they belong.
This is where you go. You got to meet other wizards to learn wizard magic.
I think I saw Lauren in the chat put wizard book clubs.
Book clubs. I love that.
Honestly, it really kind of is.
It really
kind of is.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Like
I feel like
Swapsies?
copying each other's homework is encouraged. I don't know. It's weird.
That's
Every once
basically
in a
the
while.
class, right?
Every once in a while, like finding spell scrolls still comes up. Like last night on Heroes of the Plains, a spell scroll came up, and when it happened, I was like, oh. I remember when that was a thing. Like, you're like, yes, levitation, yes. Because in the old game, you either had to find it or you had to go somewhere and pay for it. And that was how you got your spells. Where clerics are literally like, I woke up like this. You know? Woke up, checked in with God, and now I can guiding bolt. Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain got stuck on the wizard book club. I'm just like, the Red Wizards of Thay only read Clive Barker books. Like,
That one person comes to be like, can we read this Dean Koontz? No!
no, get out of here.
I feel like the Red Wizards is like a great name for one of your chat books, to tell you the truth. Like, you know, it's like, and then on
I
the
love
cover,
that. It's
all
called The
like-
Red Wizards, and it's actually like, yeah, it's a really torrid romance.
Yes.
Whereas the
100%.
real Red Wizards of Thay
Mhm.
are a nightmare.
Yes.
Well, let's start with them.
Kinda literally.
Let's go in on the Red Wizards of Thay.
All right. So Thay is a country in Forgotten Realms that is ruled by a lich, and has a lot. There are a lot of wizards that serve him that are various flavors of evil, and they are mostly. I think at this point they're mostly necromancers. There was a period where the Red Wizards kind of covered all the bases, and Zaz Tam, who is
Gesundheit.
thank you. His Eminence was just one of the Zulkirs, one of the High Wizards, but he has sort of taken over, and now it is a kingdom of undead. So I believe I'm trying to remember who's in that has come up.
Recently is Valindra.
Valindra, that's right.
And I love Valindra. She's like my favorite bad person. She's just so good. Like if I was actually in the D&D world, that would be one of those my moral compass leaving my body because the villain is hot moments. Like, yes, I know she becomes a lich, but you know, whatever.
Not yet though.
Not yet though.
Yeah. The Zaz Tham artwork is like incredible. By the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the times that I can remember that the Red Wizards have shown up is oh my god, Tyranny of Dragons, they're in there. And then Tomb of Annihilation.
That was one of the things I was saying when we were talking about this leading up to it, that a lot of times these wizard organizations don't come up practically in gameplay unless they're adversaries or an inciting incident, is again, unless the entire group is playing members of this organization. And like, it's not, we're not going to like dive too deeply into like the one wizards, you know, it's the same way your Bard College.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up though. Like, I mean, you never have to like go check in.
The Tyranny of Dragons one is like the only one where like you're really dealing with them, because like you're supposed to like go to Thay, which is where I learned that Thay was a place. I'm like, oh, I just thought it was a cool word.
They're like, that's how we've deceived you mortals. Yeah.
Oh, and then there's the one of the collection of adventure books, the Tales of the Yawning Portal. One of those is The Dead of Thay, I think it was.
I also appreciate that there's so many like paladins and good deities and blah blah blah, and they're like, undead nation ruled by a lich, come do something. And everybody's like, maybe later. We'll we'll literally go and assault hell. We're not gonna come over there though.
We're not messing with those guys.
Yeah, you can. That's like their Mordor. I was about to say that's D&D's Mordor, but D&D's got 5 or 6 Mordor.
Oh yeah, at
Right.
least. At least.
This is the undead flavored Mordor.
Exactly.
That
line was broken.
There's two places close to Thay that have a sort of wizardly organizations that we can jump to. So Aglarond is near to Thay. Aglarond for a long time was ruled by the Symbol, who is one of the Seven Sisters, the daughter of Mystra.
Prince?
Alasra.
Prince? It's ruled by Prince?
No, it's ruled by the ruler formerly known as Prince.
She's like Elminster's girlfriend. I mean, who isn't, but still. But she's passed. Now it is ruled by a council that call themselves Symbarks of wizards. So super powerful wizards. It is a majocracy that rules Aglarond.
That's a cool word.
And they don't like Thay. And then on the other side of Thay is Rashaman, which is one of my favorites. Rashaman is ruled by a council of masked witches, the Wicklarin. And they are cool. They also don't like Thay. Nobody really likes Thay, I don't think. But
it's hard to get down with the Undead Nation.
Constantly trying to hold their borders against Thay.
This is interesting, especially because I was looking at the Red Wizards. Like some of them are lawful neutral. You know what I mean? Like they're not all bad. Mm-hmm. And we were talking I guess. Not to spoil who we were talking to, but in another podcast about how on the borders, how there's zero overlap. Like in these fantasy worlds, it's like a line, you know, like the barbarians are over here, the dwarves are over there. You know what I mean? And you want to like kind of like on the right of that sort of like melting potty board, you kind of got a Lich Witch Wizard Boy trying to find himself. You know what I mean?
Lich Witch Wizard Boy is the best combination of words.
I feel like I'd listen to that album.
I'd listen
to that album from Lich Witch Wizard Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would slap.
I like to so the masked witches are basically they're trying to kind of keep Rashaman safe. They're trying to hold the borders of Rashaman. There is, however, an evil version of the masked witches, the Durthans, and the Durthans are more like, no, let's preemptive strike, because again, your neighbor is an undead nation of evil necromancers.
Yeah.
Come on. So they're not like, yep, we're here and we're going to keep it safe. They're like, we could also take that out and then we have more space to like put in a guest room.
We could put like an IKEA over there. It'll be great.
I feel like it always would smell bad though. Like, I mean, even if you managed to get rid of them, you know what I mean? It's like an episode of Hoarders. Like you've cleaned the house out, but what have you truly gained here?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh God, I just made a bad joke. Anywho.
But like that flip of you have a lawful neutral red wizard on this side, you have evil Durthan on this side. Now what's that dynamic shift look like?
See, all I can think though is that like this Rashaman place sounds like a cool place for like a hex blood to come from. The
legit. They also have a hags. There are a lot of hags in Rashaman, so it's all like
remember, patience, discipline. Our time will come. Yep. The one nice thing I will say about the Horde. That's it. Yeah.
You know, I was sitting over here just like.
That's that and Blood Elves are pretty. Two nice things. Besides that, the rest of it, nothing. However, where I know, in D&D parlance in Toril, we have thoroughly explored the Sword Coast.
Yeah.
Large parts of the planet are intentionally unexplored because, theoretically we got 50 more years of stories. But roughly, where are these places? Roughly
that way.
They are in what is known as the unapproachable East in so far as 3rd edition supplements.
Word God less racist. Yeah.
They are on the eastern side of the Therinian continent. They are not so far as Karatur, but they are, you have the Sword Coast, you have the, I forget, it's at the Heartland.
Just while you're thinking this through, for people that don't know, Toril is the planet, Faerun is the continent. So people we're talking about the Forgotten Realms being in Faerun. It's like, I mean, kinda, but it's like, and then there's Abir, the other planet, which apparently only has heart magic, Care Bear magic.
Oh my God.
Apocalyptic hellscape Care Bear magic.
Sorry, I just pictured Care Bear Dragonborns in my head, and I'm just
sure. like their tummy gets all like warm, and then breath weapon. Yeah. Sorry, you were geogra.
You've got the. I'm gonna try to do this the right way because so you got the Sword Coast, right? You've got the Dragon Reach here, which is like here's Kormir, which you might have heard of. You've got Timanther is kind of like down low, but in the middle. Then Thay is like a kind of across the Sea of Fallen Stars and north, and Aglaron's underneath it, and then Rashaman is even further north and east.
Oh.
Right.
So they are far from the Sword Coast.
Probably for the best.
But people can travel. It is possible.
It's true.
Even better because there's portals in Forgotten Realms, so you can travel real easy.
Yeah. Magic and stuff. Although you just mentioned Kormir, that's another one of our wizard organizations.
True. You have the War Wizards of Kormir, who are
the aptly named. Yeah. Whenever there is doubt and dispute, I shall act to preserve Kormir. Sunrise and moonfall, so long as my breath takes and my eyes see, I serve Kormir. I give my life that the realm endure. That is an excerpt from the Hand Flame.
Badass.
Yeah, they are these sort of state wizards. They serve the throne. Whoever's in this case Queen Raedra, and yeah, they go with the armies. They have kind of connect to the spy network. They are very well known in many a book, including Fire in the Blood.
Including, I mean, yeah, if you think of it, like, if I'm ruling a kingdom, I would invest very heavily in wizards and clerics. Like, those would, a significant portion of the GDP would go into the development of those two things. Because, one can win or lose the battle for you. Especially when you're like, we lost. And they're like, time stop. You sure? Yep.
There's the Mage Royal. There's a super wizard that's in charge of them.
Super wizard.
The best wizard.
He's Super Saiyan level 3.
Which is currently Ganrahast is the current Mage Royal. I'm trying to remember they have they also have basically internal affairs for war wizards, but I can't remember what they're called. But someone in the chat will probably pop up with
the Red Squad for the war wizards. Imagine that. Like, you gotta go bust corrupt wizards.
I really love the artwork that's on the page for the War Wizards, because it makes me think of Dragon Age 2, the way that they did mages, where they're swinging their staves and hitting people with magic with their staff. That's cool. That's real cool. I like that.
They're definitely primed for we're going into battle. We're gonna mess some people up.
Even though, and this is a whole different topic, I actually believe Gandalf is a paladin, not a wizard.
Oh.
But when you look at the things he actually does, that's all paladin stuff. However, the scene in The Return of the King, when he's up on the wall fighting with the staff and the sword, I was just like, yeah, okay, okay, I'll take that. Yes.
Alorphons. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's what they're called.
Okay. So those are the
internal affairs wizards.
Oh,
those are the ones
affairs wizards.
Self-police.
See, I feel like the internal affairs wizards just know a lot of scrying and divination stuff. They're literally.
I think they definitely have some specialization.
Yeah, when you're non-detection, they're like, why not? Sorry.
That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah. That's also the challenge with these things, and when you have a level rank system that you're like, I'm the greatest wizard, it's like, we're all level 20 pimping, so, are you though?
This is one of those things like novel wise trying to tell this kind of story, and also do game level thing, and the reminder that you always get is heroes are extraordinary. And so it is extraordinary to have someone be a wizard of even 14th level. That's amazing. The fact that your character can get to 20th is because you are special, but it's hard because you see everybody playing and everybody has that ability. So it's ostensibly we're all playing in this world, but no, we're playing in, I guess, parallel iterations of this world.
I wonder, you think if you were to actually witness some of these things, what would be the most impressive?
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, I think a druid, because you're a bear riding a bear that shoots bears, that might be the most.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm not going to argue against that. That's pretty impressive.
Because I mean, like, on the one hand, you're like watching somebody throw a fireball would be pretty cool, but then a bard comes along and is like, I'm gonna sing a song and they'll drop dead from hurt feelings. Really? Yeah. Yeah.
But then you got a bear riding a bear shooting bears.
That
Giant can.
Can you think of a better description of a druid than that?
I really can't. I really can't.
Yeah. So
Codename, we're giving you free material
There you
here.
go.
I'm just saying. If you need
You
a
already
new boss,
3 kobolds in a trench coat. Now
bear
on a bear that shoots bears. That is my one regret from Idle Champions Presents. My one regret was I never got to fit Human in there. I had so many places that I wanted to, and it just never quite worked. Usually because I was like, if I do this, we're 40 minutes of Human here. And we got somewhere else to be. So
next time.
You know, that's gonna be the grand reveal of the secret big bad will have been Human all along. Dun 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 dun.
So is there any other spots you want to hit for the Kormir Wizards, or is there another group that we should take a look at?
Well, there probably is. There's so many wizard groups.
Yes. Because we talked about one of them. We talked about the Arcane Brotherhood a little bit when we were going over some Icewind Dale stuff. But what exactly were they for people who may have missed that episode?
So the Arcane Brotherhood is a group of evil wizards.
Evil wizards
that operate out of the north, like I think near Luskin.
Yeah.
And they're excellent antagonists.
Yeah.
They basically kind of seem to use their powers to sort of affect dominate trade routes and get fingers in politics and stuff.
They're
less
like
of a, I want to create a monstrosity to rampage for me, and a little more like I want to be richer.
I feel like the Arcane Brotherhood was like a group of wizards that tried to join the Zentarum. They're like, we're more about daggers here, and they're like, oh, fine, we'll make our own club.
My own evil organization.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about this too. That it's like we all agree that like liches are wizards plus, but it's like, yeah, but why though? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think it's because like most of the time, liches are wizards that are just like, you know what? I'm kind of over this like possibly dying thing.
Oh yeah,
I have so much more wizarding to do.
I mean, like off in the distance, I've thoroughly offended a Sararak. You know what I mean? Because he's been persistent.
One of my favorite things that I've ever read in a book was about a Sararak, and it's just like, if the party beats him, he just goes to a demiplane and just waits till they die because he doesn't care if that time exists. And I'm like, that is amazing.
That's a power move.
That's
such a power move.
That's all a vampire, man. Where you're like, once you accept an eternal timeline, getting revenge in 50 years is completely valid. You know?
Oh my
You're
God.
like, I'll get back to you in 2340.
That makes more sense now why Strahd gets so mad at adventurers coming in, because he knows if they die, their souls are stuck there. He's stuck with them forever. Like he's like I can't just wait you out. You'll be back.
And then you'll get me, and I'll be back. And it's just terrible.
It's just over and over and over and over.
Yep. I mean, like, because it's because the Sararak is trying so hard to achieve godhood, where like Lathander like derped his way into it. You used to hate him in particular. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the idea that you somehow confront a Sararak, and he's like, no, first you're going to listen to me rant about Lathander. First you need to understand why that guy is a dick.
Yeah, here's what I'll let you. If you agree with me, screw that guy, and I'll let you all live. Great.
I'll give you some of my necklaces. They're awesome. They just annihilate crap.
Yeah. Because it's
person now.
Now I'm gonna tell you my Lathander fanfiction where he dies every time.
That's what he's doing during the 50 years that he's just waiting them out. It's just angry like Lathander fanfiction where they make out a lot though, but then Lathander dies. Yep.
Okay, so what's another wizard group that is? What's another wizard book club?
There is so there's a place in the south of Faerun called Halrua, which is ruled by a council of elders. But Halrua itself is kind of a wizard book club. Like this is a very magic heavy society. It's one of the few places where you see people apply like practical magic. Like they worked out like cold spells to refrigeration, so they have more like kind of more of a tech feel, but it is very magical. This was one where when the spell plague hit, it blew up because there was so much magic there. But then it was like, just kidding, we disguised it so you guys would leave us alone because we don't like you. It's an interesting spot. I think that it's a cool place.
I just loved the because we don't like you with a smile.
I'm not entirely sure that's how they framed it, but that was the impression I got, was that that was the for the retcon. Like, oh no, it didn't actually blow up, so you can have it back. It was like we cast the spell of disguise on it, so we could be alone.
I love it.
I would just like to say special shout out to one of the best titles in history for a group, the Cloaked Ascendancy. That's just a great name. It's just a great name. They were in Neverwinter. They were beefing with that gold Neverember, which is always hard to say. That guy just caused a lot of problems, to tell you the truth.
Hard to finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick aside. I got to run D&D for my nephews this weekend for like the first time in 2 years, and a Neverember showed up and said that he was related to King Neverember of Neverwinter. My nephews went, "Why words? Why?"
You're like, wish I could tell you, little bro.
Wish I could tell you.
Wish I could tell you.
So we actually have quite a few questions from chat.
If we want, hang on. I think Aaron had one more thought.
That's what I was going for.
I was going to say, we were kind of like which idle champions tie into this, because there are a fair number of wizards. Dadius, I think I'm saying that right. It's one of those, you read the word but you never say it out loud, is a member of the Arcane Brotherhood.
Okay.
I'm sure he's very helpful, even though that's obviously not a cool group. Does Alindra have a wizard book club?
Alindra is not a member of one of the wizard colleges, as far as I know. She's got a lot of titles, though. I mean, she says a lot of words about things. I mean, like maybe I don't remember her having to return any books, though. I don't think so. Yeah.
See, now I just want to make a wizard group that's just all librarians.
You know, I mean, they'd be so happy though.
Oh, they would be.
Like,
yeah.
The like D&D version of the Library of Alexandria. It's like they would simultaneously be so happy and so catty. All of it. Yeah.
The Okoria is a member of the Watchful Order, which are the wizards that work with the Blackstaff in Waterdeep. They're sort of the wizards that keep Waterdeep from blowing up again.
Waterdeeping?
From Waterdeeping. They try to keep Waterdeep from Waterdeeping.
I mean, you know, you kind of need some like pretty competent people there, because word is there's a beholder loose in the sewers.
Yeah. And that's like the smallest of their problems.
And that
is true. Right? When a beholder loose in the sewers is fairly low on your to-do list.
I kind of feel like that's just Vajra all the time, is just trying to keep Waterdeep from Waterdeeping. Like that's her constant goal.
I think that's like the Blackstaff's job description.
Yeah.
Stop Waterdeep from Waterdeeping.
Stop Waterdeep from Waterdeeping. Like, great. Yeah. They were like, also
keep the Waterdeeping to a minimum.
They were like, it's like, hey, in this world with like liches and undead, what if we kept thousands of corpses 50 feet from the city gates? You know, you're like, maybe don't. Yep.
There's I have to point at this book. There's a standalone novel called The City of the Dead by Rosemary Jones, which is about the City of the Dead, which is the cemetery, and it is actually delightful and funny and adorable. Like it's like D&D rom-com, but with undead things, and everybody should read it. It's great.
What's the name of that one again?
The City of the Dead.
City of the Dead. I'm gonna look that up.
And Ed Green presents Waterdeep.
I'm glad that, because in my mind, the way it goes down there, again, Lord of the Rings illusions, how the ghosts are just in there chilling, kind of surly. Like, that's really what it's like in there. Like, they're talking to each other all the time. Yeah, and they're like, wait, a paladin's coming. Nobody move.
Their vision's based on movement.
There's a family who takes care of the graveyard, the carvers. And so this is about the one carver daughter. And they can go through the graveyard and the ghosts don't bother them because they're there to take care of it. But then somebody starts messing with the ghosts and the ghosts start leaving the graveyard and everything starts going to pot. But it's really cute. I like it a lot.
Their vision's based on blasphemy.
Evil Emperor Zerg putting the romance back in necromancy.
There's necromancy and necromancing. Yep, that's true.
The romance is with a wizard
I hate
who is not dead. There we go.
I mean, necromancers are wizards.
I didn't say he wasn't a necromancer. No.
Any other champions that you can find that got any known associations?
Not that I can find.
But you players, you may find some of these jerks you have to fight at some point.
That's true.
Keep an eye out.
All of them. Yeah.
But like
if you see a person wearing robes standing at the back of the group, get them first. That's just a good life lesson. Skip the guy wrapped in metal. He is designed to deceive you. Go after the squishy looking one.
He's designed to deceive you. Okay, like I said, we got quite a few questions from chat, so we're gonna hop in here a little bit early. Let's see. Catch23 says, question: are all red wizards of Thay really just dumb? They always choose to serve people who are 100% going to kill them for their service. I mean,
you sort of have a minion loop problem.
Yeah,
because sometimes sometimes you do rise up the ranks, right? That could happen.
I mean, you're very smart. You're socially awkward. You know, like you've spent your life like mastering, levitate and feather fall, and some dude's like, "You work for me now, nerd," and it's like,
you work for me now.
It's like this, like the C student broy CEO, with your brilliant engineers.
Oh my god! I now want to make the most broy lich that like calls all of his minions nerds. Oh, that'd be great.
I love a crappy lich.
Yeah.
There's a lich in Brimstone Angels novels who was like a kind of crummy wizard. And the sort of big bad was trying to make herself into a lich, but got betrayed and killed. And then the kind of crappy wizard was there. So, here's this deal getting set up with Orcus. She's like, yeah, that's me. I'll take it. So now she like lives in a castle and like scries on people doing interesting things. Like she's watching reality TV. That's not what she does. She makes lots of servants, jeweled skeletons. Freniki's like, yeah, do stuff for me.
Yeah,
that's what she does with her lichdom.
Imagine if like you ended up like a lich by mistake. Not that you were like a wonderful wizard, but that you were a really bad one. You were just like experimenting with potions, kind of like the Flash got his powers. Like an explosion went off, and you're like, I'm a lich now. Okay, yeah.
See, you're saying the reality TV thing, and I love the idea that she's sitting there watching the Scrying Stone, and then she pops in from the future next to her. It's like, sorry, I need to see this one again. It's a great episode.
I mean, is that not so different than us watching streams? Are we not all liches scrying on individuals? Are we not all liches?
Cassius335 says, question: why do bards get magical secrets and wizards don't? I feel like wizards wrote most of the spell books.
I feel like bards get magical secrets because people want to tell them things. Wizard things.
It's true. I mean, it's like wizards are the vegan CrossFitters of the Forgotten Realms. They're gonna tell you all about their wizardry.
Oh, my god!
They'll let you know. Whereas the bard's like, cool,
if a bard can cast
raised dead, got it.
If a bard can cast vicious mockery and is from College of Valor, which do they tell you about first?
Right, exactly. They gas you up to death.
I say that being loving the bard class, but
I come from a time where bards were a joke and an afterthought. They're the best class in 5e. A lore bard is a party in and of themselves.
Too Long Don't Read says, question: do the heroes from the Magic the Gathering exist in this universe?
Well, in Ravenica, yeah.
Here's the thing: no game Idle Champions wise, yes, because there's a book right there that exists. But here's the thing. Don't try to think about how the magic from that universe works in this universe, or your head will explode.
It just does. I mean, well, that, and, you know, this is not a spoiler alert. Stand down, NDA lasers. That, Drizzt and the characters from the Forgotten Realms are going into Magic this fall. So, I mean, like, the Loth and Drizzt and Brunor and that whole squad are all going over into the game soon. So technically Ravenica is a different plane, but in wibbly wobbly timey wiminess, you know, a Ravenna can show up and like still throw fireballs and vice versa. So yeah.
Obo Lord in the chat. So Spelljammer not confirmed. Garwar comes in with possibly the best comment we got today. Wizards went to college, sorcerers learned from YouTube. Oh my god, I love
also Lauren, I know you're in chat because you're always in chat. You correct me if I'm wrong about Alindra having a wizard college. I don't think she does though.
Lauren said something earlier about I can't remember what. Put it back in there again. I'll take a look.
I know she's raised by halflings and has a terrible father.
Xavier Keith says question, what is each speaker's favorite school of magic?
Oh, I'm so bad at this. I always think things are the wrong school. Because I don't play Wizards.
What'd you say,
well,
Peter?
But I said evocation, blow stuff up.
Same. I like blowing stuff up. It's just cool.
Well, there's absolutely. I always transformation. You say
pretty fun.
Yeah.
My little goblin boy Garlock, he got to blow stuff up. He got to blow stuff up.
Yeah.
We have a running thing in Dungeon Scrawlers that everybody hates on necromancers, but really enchantment is the worst school of magic. This is the one where you get in people's heads and control them. So
I mean, define worse. Like most morally questionable or least useful?
Oh, morally questionable.
Oh, morally questionable. 100% enchantment is the most moral. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean,
who are the evil wizards? It's not the necromancers.
Nobody's using those corpses anymore. You know, I mean, like, it's recycling. We're just, it's just being efficient. Yeah. You know,
Cecilia's terrible father is an enchanter.
Because I was gonna say the most useless school of magic is illusions currently. Yeah. So
Lauren did put in the chat that Alindra was trying to get a book club started with Whittle last night.
Oh no, we're not a group of readers though. I think literally all of us but Alindra ints are Dumpstat. I really think all of us have ints of 8 except her. Yeah. So we're not really readers.
No, that's my home game. The Golden Pals, like anytime an intelligence check comes up, they always go, who's got a better rolling high ability?
I'm like, I can give you guidance and inspiration. Yeah. Good luck. But yep.
Let's see.
We're not a cerebral gang.
Let's see. Where's that one I was gonna read? I think this is Liberation. Speaking of the different kinds of magic users, so I guess naming Novak's Uprooted is like the story of a wizard trying to teach magic to a sorcerer. Poor guy was so frustrated.
It's true. You just do things.
Mm-hmm.
That's Freely's whole character concept. I mean, yes, he has 4 classes. That is true. He is a bard, warlock, paladin, sorcerer. But not only are those all charisma based, they're all innate. Nobody's taught him anything. He just does things. Like even he doesn't know why the sword catches on fire when he wants it to. It just does. There we are. Yeah. And so Alindra is like working out all these complex things, and he's just like. Yep.
Xavier Keith comes back and says, I need to know who the kingdom of good necromancers are. There's always the home of evil ones, but where?
It's the Baelnorn.
What is it?
The Baelnorn.
Baelnorn.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar.
They're lich elves.
They're good lich elves.
Mm-hmm.
Good little.
Which is like weird because they're like, you know, we have to bear this burden of eternity. It's like, yeah, but you're already gonna live a really long time. Like, I mean, are you sure? Yeah, and then you get to stay hot after you've done it. Like, that's not.
Sorry.
Seems unfair.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't know one in Forgotten Realms, but in Eberron, Arenal is an island where the elves live, and they're ruled by the Undying Court, and they are not specifically evil.
Mm-hmm.
So they are ruled by a court of liches.
Okay.
Baelnorns, kind of.
I'm gonna have to look in this place more. I like that. That sounds fun.
The elves elves in Eberron I really like, because there's Aeronol,
that's the thing. We didn't even get into like how Eberron wizards and groups work. Oh my gosh.
So there's the
poorly
Aeronol
if you're
elves.
from Sire.
There's barbarian elves in Valnar, and then the Drow are in Zendrick, and they originally they didn't worship Walt. They had like a scorpion god, because they don't live underground.
They changed arachnids. Yeah.
I mean, love might have motivated them.
They're like, no.
Catch-23, I want you to know the main reason I'm reading this because you put one of my favorite memes in it. Walking into Thay to mess with Saz Tam is kind of like walking into Barovia and yelling, "Hey, Strahd, you big nerd, where's my money?"
It's true.
Love it so much.
It's true. I ended up for this thing, Jude's thing. I got to do a scene between Strahd and Tiamat that I really enjoyed.
Oh God,
that.
I guess I had to leave before that part. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, Tiamat and Strahd got to have words. Yeah, she's like, "I love what you did with the place." Yep.
Let's see if I can say this name. I'm gonna say Sudian says Lich Witch Wizard Boy sounds like a version of rock paper scissors. Lich Witch Wizard Boy.
I'm like, broom. I did broom. No, cauldron. Crap. Yeah.
Cassius 335 Care Bear Dragonborn probably keep healing its foes by mistake.
It's like the monks that can punch, healing the Way of Mercy monks that heal by punching. You're like, it's supposed to be like pressure point manipulation, but they're like, live.
It's like Borderlands when you get the feat that lets you heal your allies by shooting them.
Yeah. Yep.
Still the best magic I've ever heard of. The dagger of healing. Still my favorite thing in the world.
It's true.
Xavier Keith, necromancers. Oh no, you defeated all my troops. Mass raised dead. Round 2, buckaroo.
Again, the Hard Home episode of Game of Thrones is still one of the finest episodes of TV ever. But when they're leaving and the Night King's just standing there and he just raises his arms and everybody gets up and they all just stand there, I'm like, shout out to the Night King, our dead homie.
Here's a good one. Sudian comes back and says, what is it about Elminster that makes him, quote, more powerful than a lich? Is it as simple as the power of friendship or something else?
He's not bad. He's just written that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just the most powerful because reasons.
Because Mistra's in love with him. He's literally hooked up with the goddess of magic.
Well, there was a thing.
Hurt.
Ed Greenwood did a thread last year about something that's kind of related to this, how Elminster is an anchor. And there's apparently several characters throughout the Forgotten Realms that are anchors that basically pull the weave with them.
Yeah.
And so, like, he straight up said, like, if Elminster came to Earth, he'd still be able to cast all of his magic. So he's kind of more powerful in the sense that he's cool everywhere.
I mean, yeah, but also Ed Greenwood created all of this. Shout out to our homie. It's the same where you're like, why is Superman the most powerful? Because Superman's the most powerful. Elminster's the most powerful. There you go. That's why. Yeah.
Yep.
I can explain why, but I'm just that's what it comes down to.
So I wonder, like, if Elminster came to here, right, and he pulls the weave with him and he can cast magic, would people around Elminster also be able to tap the weave?
I mean, having
like
been
TARDIS
around Ed Greenwood dressed as Elminster, I felt magical. So yeah,
Did you try to cast a fireball?
You know,
that's a secret.
Time.
He's always trying to cast fireball.
That's my secret. Always. You know, it's funny. You were just like, if Elminster came here, in my mind, I just went straight to like Elminster Goes to Camp, like those old Ernest movies. Air breaks. Featherfall, you know.
I kind of want to do like an ADC with Elminster, but it's like when Bill and Ted bring all the people from the past to the mall, like just Elminster walking around like a Brookstone.
What sorcery is this? Yeah.
Got cooler stuff at Candlekeep.
Literally.
Delananion, I think that's how you say it. My bad. The problem is that everyone becomes a red wizard. Most of them can't actually cut it, and so they get hinged out of the cold to cull the herd. Most players have never met a real wizard of Thay. I kind of understand what they're saying there, where it's like, if you're a wizard and you're in Thay, you're automatically a red wizard. But like,
yeah, and the people who get sent out into the world that aren't in Thay are really the crummy ones.
yeah.
So you haven't actually fought with like a real red wizard because
Yeah.
these little cures don't leave Thay.
See, that
Why
seems
would
like
you?
red wizard propaganda. You know what I mean? That you're like, you just beat up our lesser members. You know? So,
Those are our crummy ones.
right, exactly. Like, yeah, again, like, you know, Acererak is yet to reveal his true plan.
Yeah.
You will rue the day. Start ruing.
Start ruining.
His true plan. Make everybody read his fan fiction.
It's true.
Oh my
Comic.
god.
Voluminous.
Herkwork
Voluminous.
just put in the chat red shirts of Thay, and that's my everything.
That's the web comic. That's the web comic.
See, that makes me feel bad though, because one of the times that I've killed one of my wife's characters was with a red wizard of Thay casting fireball on himself because he was surrounded.
I remember you telling me that story where he's like, guess we're all gonna die. I'm that dude, by the way. I'm absolutely the pull the pin on the grenade on my belt. Like, it's like, I guess we're all dying.
See, I thought they were all gonna be fine, but then I guess I didn't find out that she rolled a 2 for her health that level. So she didn't have a lot of health.
Then you have to go to Thay and get a raise.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's awkward to explain. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, this is the last one I'm gonna do. It's also from Delananon. Admission counselor. You can either summon a dinosaur, turn someone into a dinosaur, or pretend to create a dinosaur. Illusionist. I'll take that third option.
Sure. Again, it's like, I feel like a lot of the guidance counselor, it's like you walk into the room and they just like slap you and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, do you get out of the way? Does the mage armor spring to life?
Yeah.
You know, do you hold a book up? Do you call upon your god? You know,
That-
Turn into a saber-toothed tiger and savage them.
That is
Exactly.
actually one question that I do have here for that. Is there any canonical like wizard school? But like, is it like, I think Candlekeep's got a bit of that, but is there any other place that's like, this is the wizard school?
And like every major city has them, and I think it's like they're akin to the temples. Like there's big temples and then little temples. I mean, because it's very much, you have to be taught.
Yeah.
So
Waterdeep has one. I can't remember. The House of Wonder. The House of Wonder is the sort of combo Mystra Temple Wizard School.
Okay.
yep, I feel like Mystra Temples is a good place to start in general. By the way,
I think it generally is for a lot of places. Like it does double 2D.
see, the min-maxer in me, it's funny you say double duty, because the min-maxer in me is I'm all like Cleric of Mystra, best of both worlds. Like, yeah.
Well, they do have the arcane domain. I've never messed around with that. I should try that one out.
It's interesting. You can the Karin and Karen in A Dark and Wish are arcane domain clerics. You get pretty interesting crossover of what you can do. That's true.
Nice. Well, that is all the time we got for some lore today. Erin, B-Dave, where can people find you and what awesome things are you working on?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can listen to me talk to these guys about writing fantasy on the podcast, writing about dragons and shit, which goes up every Wednesday. And then later today, you can catch me at 6:30 on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers, where I play Cecilia, who is definitely not a warlock.
Absolutely,
She's
100%
super
not.
a wizard with the Masked Witch prestige class. That is
Totally.
the thing that she did with a lot of work. She's not lazy.
Makes sense. B. Dave Walters, I say words about things. I'll be on difficulty class later today. So you have any questions? You send it into the, what is it, difficulty class podcast?
It's difficultyclass@gmail.com. If you have any questions about the Motherlands RPG and Kickstarter, send those in right now because we're recording it today and it's going up on Friday.
I assure you, it'll be the first time we talked about it. And I did
100%.
not at all ruin the audio recording of the last time we
Nothing bad
talked about
ever
it.
happens on that show to audio ever.
It's true. I just appreciate that we learned a valuable lesson about recording Zoom calls that we proceeded not to implement here today. So it's great. It's everything.
No. XSplit's got that. XSplit's got
Got
it.
it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Perfect.
fine. Yeah.
And all over the place in shooting some fun stuff on Friday that I guess you'll get to hear about soon. And Thursday, which is tomorrow, now that we moved. I'm not accustomed to it being tomorrow and not.
It still feels weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like brushing your teeth with your left hand. It only leads to chaos. Dungeons and Dragons, the Black Dice Society, our Ravenloft game, 4 Pacific on D&D, Twitch, and YouTube.
Yeah. Again, you can find me with B-Dave this week on Difficulty Class on Friday. We're going to be talking about Motherlands. It's going to be great. And you can also find me on Twitter at the Treavor. There's an A hiding in there, and all the just mass amounts of podcasts that I do constantly, as well as here on twitch.tv/CNE Games on Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Champions of Psychology. We talked about depression this week.
Trey.
Oh, dang it. Really? You got to bring it here.
This is the thing now.
This is the thing now.
That's a street name.
If you want to know more about why that is my name, check out Writing About Dragons and shit in a few weeks.
It's true.
Thank you to Jay for moderating the chat as always, and thank you to Codename Entertainment for giving us a chance to talk about some awesome D&D stuff and having some fun. If you missed any part of the show, you can catch it later as a podcast at 2 p.m. on all of your favorite podcast services. And if you have any suggestions for things you'd want us to talk about related to Idle Champions, you can send those into championsoflore@codenameentertainment.com. Also, if you're here with us live right now, be sure to come back at 1 p.m. for Mars's Guiding Hand and learn all the cool things about the game and be better at it. Like, definitely not like me. Don't be like me. Don't be good at the game. Be like Mars. Don't be like me.
Be like whoever you want.
Yes, exactly.
But also go watch Mars.
100%. But that is going to do it for this week's Champions of Lore. So until next week, Champions out.